"You owe us $1,000 for swimming." Those were the exact words that changed my life forever. Picture this. It's a random Tuesday in March. I'm 45 years old, dripping wet, standing on my own dock in nothing but swim trunks and righteous confusion, while a woman in a blinding white tracksuit waves a pink citation at me like she's Moses parting the Red Sea with bureaucracy. I laughed at first. I thought it was a prank. Then I saw the number, $1,000. Plus $150 per day until environmental compliance is achieved. For swimming in a lake my family has owned since 1923. My name is Ethan Cole. I teach high school history, which means I've spent 20 years learning exactly how power corrupts when nobody's watching. Turns out, I was about to get a front row seat to the masterclass. This is the full story of how a single insane HOA fine turned into the wildest 2.5 years of my life. Dog murder, embezzlement, scuba diving break-ins, federal raids, and a fortune buried under 40 feet of water. By the end, the woman who fined me for swimming would be in prison, and I'd be collecting $5,000 a year from the entire neighborhood just for letting them look at my lake. Buckle up. This one gets dark, then crazy, then strangely beautiful.
Let me take you back. My grandmother's cottage sits on a private, spring-fed lake in northern Georgia. Crystal clear, rope swings still hanging from the same oak tree I used when I was 6. The subdivision, Lakeside Manor, didn't exist when my great-grandfather bought the land. It grew up around us like ivy, 18 months before the incident. I wasn't rich. I was a public school teacher with a golden retriever named Buster and a mortgage I could barely afford. The cottage was my sanctuary. That Tuesday, I came home from parent-teacher conferences feeling like I'd been run over by a marching band of entitled parents. All I wanted was to dive in, swim 20 laps, and let the cold water rinse the stupidity off me. I did exactly that. When I surfaced, there she was, Linda Sterling, newly elected HOA president, standing on my dock like she owned it. Clipboard, fake badge, smug smile. "Mr. Cole, you are in violation of Environmental Protection Code 15C, unauthorized bodily immersion causing chemical runoff into the community watershed." I blinked lake water out of my eyes. "Linda, this is private property. My family's private lake." She tapped her clipboard. "Actually, the 2023 membership amendment reclassified all contiguous water features as community assets. You're looking at a $1,000 fine plus daily accrual." She handed me the pink ticket like she was doing me a favor. I saw something then. Something small that would later blow the whole thing open. A tiny plastic anti-theft tag still dangling from the zipper of her $800 designer purse. The kind that beeps if you walk out of Nordstrom without paying. I opened my mouth to argue, but her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, and for half a second, the mask slipped. Real fear flashed across her face. She declined the call so fast her thumb blurred. "Just pay the fine, Mr. Cole," she snapped, already walking away. "Some people think property rights give them permission to pollute." Pollute. That word hit me like a brick. Because 3 years earlier, my dog, Buster, my best friend, my shadow, dropped dead in my arms from acute chemical poisoning. The vet bill was $4,000 I didn't have, and we never found the source. I stood on that dock dripping, watching her march away in her never-worn tracksuit, and something ancient woke up inside me.
That night, I didn't sleep. History teachers are dangerous when we can't sleep. We research. By 3:17 a.m., I found the article buried in the local paper's archives. 3 dogs die after HOA beautification spraying. Residents demand answers. Quote from Beautification Committee Chair Linda Sterling. "Property maintenance standards must be upheld regardless of pet owner negligence." My hands started shaking. She'd been in charge of the spraying contract that killed Buster. She called it negligence. I called it murder. I called the only person I trusted with something this insane. Marcus Mac Holloway, retired detective, my dad's old partner, and the closest thing I had to family. It was 3:42 a.m. "Ethan," he groaned, "this better be life or death. Linda Sterling killed Buster, and now she's trying to steal my lake." Long pause. "I'll be there at 7 with coffee and a background check folder." Mac showed up with 2 large coffees and a manila folder thick enough to knock someone out. "Your HOA president isn't just a Karen, Ethan. She's drowning." Inside the folder, $75,000 in markers at the tribal casino 2 hours north, $28,000 leftover medical debt from her late husband, active foreclosure, 90 days to come up with $52K or lose the house. A pattern of 5- and 6-figure environmental fines hitting the wealthiest homes in Lakeside Manor for the last 10 months. She was using the HOA as her personal ATM, and she was running out of time.
The next morning, I caught her on my security camera at 6:27 a.m., pacing by my back fence, whispering furiously into her phone. "The teacher won't be a problem much longer. Just get it done by Friday." She looked straight at my kitchen window, saw me standing there, and waved. Not a friendly wave, a promise. The fines came fast after that. $400 for excessive splashing noise pollution. $554 for unauthorized dock modifications. I replaced one rotten board. $250 for improper storage of flotation devices. By Friday, I was staring at $3,400 in fake violations. Then Sarah Jenkins knocked on my door after dark. Sarah was the HOA treasurer, quiet, single mom, terrified of confrontation. She was shaking so hard she could barely hand me the banker's box. "She created a shell company," she whispered, "Environmental Solutions, LLC. She's been billing us for fake testing, fake treatments. $38,000 gone. The playground fund, Ethan. She stole money meant for kids." Sarah's little girl had leukemia. She needed the insurance the HOA job provided. Linda had threatened to get her fired if she talked. This wasn't petty HOA drama anymore. This was organized crime wearing Lululemon. Mac came up with the plan. "Gamblers get sloppy when they smell a big score. You call her, you surrender, you beg for a private settlement. We wire you up." I hated it, but I did it. "Linda, I can't fight anymore. Can we settle this quietly?" You could hear her grinning through the phone. "Come over tomorrow night, Mr. Cole. We'll handle it like adults." I walked into her house wearing a recording device the size of a pen cap. Mac was parked 2 houses down in an unmarked van. Her dining room table was covered in documents, right next to the fake water testing gadget she'd waved at me on the dock. She slid a contract across the table. "Simple shared access agreement. The HOA takes 50% control of the lake. You avoid all fines. Everyone wins." She wanted to steal my inheritance. I played my card. "I keep thinking about my dog," I said quietly. "You were in charge of the lake treatments back then too, right?" The mask shattered. That dog was a nuisance. Irresponsible owners like you endanger property values. Sometimes you have to cull the weak to protect the investment. Cull the weak? She just confessed to murdering my dog on tape. I pushed one step further. "And the playground money? Was that for property values too?" She stood up, face purple. "I deserve that money for everything I put up with from ungrateful people like you." The front door exploded open. Mac and 2 uniformed officers stepped in. "Linda Sterling, you're under arrest." She screamed the entire way to the car, screamed about entrapment, about powerful friends, about how we had no idea who we were messing with. As they loaded her into the cruiser, I noticed a black sedan with tinted windows idling across the street. As soon as the police car pulled away, the sedan followed. That was the first time I felt real fear.
The emergency HOA meeting the next night was standing room only. Half the room wanted Linda crucified. The other half, led by a woman named Helen who thought Linda walked on water, wanted her canonized. Sarah, brave, terrified Sarah, walked to the front with the banker's box and passed out copies of every fake invoice, every casino withdrawal. The room went dead silent.
Vote to remove Linda as president, 41 to 37. We won by 4 votes. Then came the gut punch. The HOA account had $1,187 left. We were bankrupt. I stood up. I'll contribute $5,000 a year for official community lake access rights. Below market rate. Keeps the lights on. The same people who had been ready to lynch me the week before voted unanimously to accept. Linda tried to steal my lake for free. Now the entire neighborhood pays me $5,000 every April just to look at it. Karma really does keep receipts. Linda made bail the next day, $35,000 cash. A woman in foreclosure doesn't have $35K lying around? The harassment turned ugly fast. Car keyed stem to stern, mailbox smashed with a baseball bat, 12 anonymous complaints to the school board. I was suspended without pay. Surgical break-ins. Nothing stolen, just drawers opened, files moved. Then came the night of the Frogman. 3:12 a.m., I woke to the sound of my sliding back door. I grabbed the Louisville Slugger I now kept by the bed and crept downstairs. Flipped on the floodlights. A figure in a full black wetsuit, rebreather, and dive fins sprinted across my living room and dove off my dock into the lake. Gone. My neighbor Miller had a trail cam pointed at the water. The footage still gives me chills. A professional diver emerging from the blackness like a damn Navy SEAL spends 21 minutes inside my house, slips back into the water without a ripple. Miller looked at me and said the sentence that turned my blood to ice. Son, that ain't a burglar. That's spec ops. What the hell do you have at the bottom of that lake?
Linda's trial was a circus. Her attorney, someone way above her pay grade, painted her as a grieving widow, persecuted by a vindictive neighbor. She cried on the stand, apologized for the accidental death of my dog. I thought we were going to lose. Then Sarah took the stand with the financial records. You can fake tears. You can't fake bank transfers. Guilty on all counts. 4 years, state prison. As they led her away, she screamed, "You don't know what you've done." I looked into the gallery. Her lawyer was whispering to a man in a $5,000 suit who was taking photos of me with his phone. I heard 6 words as I walked past. The teacher's still a problem. Handle it. 2 years later, I got a collect call from Central Georgia Women's Correctional. Linda sounded 20 years older. "I need to tell you everything," she whispered. "They paid off my debts, gave me the bail money, said if I didn't force you to sell the land, they'd hurt my daughter. That's why I poisoned the dog. Warning shot. There's something under your lake, Ethan. Rare earth minerals, neodymium, dysprosium, hundreds of millions of dollars. A Nevada mining consortium has been buying up old lake bottom rights across the southeast for a decade. Your parcel is the last piece they need." I dropped the phone. All of it. The fake environmental surveys, the scuba divers, the high-priced lawyers. Clicked. They didn't want my cottage. They wanted what was under it. Mac took the recording straight to the FBI. 6 months later, the raids hit the news. Federal agents arrest 14 in 3-state land fraud scheme. Executives dragged out of glass offices in handcuffs. Linda's full confession sealed it. The consortium collapsed. Epilogue. Life after the war. I never went back to teaching high school history. I teach something more valuable now. I travel the country speaking about HOA corruption, hidden land grabs, and how regular people can fight back. My online course, The Cole Method, has over 40,000 students. I wrote the book. I bought Linda's foreclosed McMansion at auction and turned it into an Airbnb called Karen's Castle. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. Last month, I got married on my dock at sunset. Judy, the woman who took my seminar in Atlanta, said yes right where Linda once fined me for swimming. The whole neighborhood came to the wedding. Even Helen brought a homemade pound cake and an apology through tears. Linda got out last year. Works the night shift stocking shelves 3 towns over. I saw her once at Walmart. She looked straight through me like I was a ghost. I didn't feel triumph. I just felt tired. Because every once in a while, when the moon is new and the lake goes black as oil, I still see a ripple that doesn't belong to any fish. The consortium is gone, but the minerals are still down there. And somewhere, someone else is probably looking at satellite maps right now, wondering how hard it would be to take what's mine. So tell me in the comments, if you discovered a fortune under your backyard and people had already killed for it once, would you sell and walk away rich? Or would you stand your ground knowing they might come back in the dark with scuba tanks and worse? This is Ethan Cole reminding you, sometimes the biggest battles start with the smallest fine. Never blink first, and whatever you do, don't let them see you swim.